as the tour had only just begun. Intensive tests began at Sloan Kettering Cancer Specialist Hospital in New York. Bob decided to return to Miami to continue the process at Cedars of Lebanon, where he felt more comfortable. I joined him there. Again, we were all in attendance. Rita, Diane, Yvette, myself, and the crew, the ever-faithful brethren. In short order, Rita and I traveled with him back to Sloan Kettering in New York, as it was absolutely the best place for cancer treatment. Yes, the cancer was back, this time in his lung and brain. Looking back now, I think we were all numb with fear, unable to even really process what was happening. He was angry, naturally, at this cruel twist of fate, to be cut down in his prime, confronted by his mortality. They began very aggressive treatment, which resulted in the usual nausea and vomiting, etc. I read from the book of Job on the first day, while he fought to cope with the massive doses of chemo. Over the next few weeks of treatment, which seemed endless and very difficult, he was actually allowed to smoke herb, as they already knew that it helped. And we journeyed to and from the hospital every day with food and moral support, trying to remain upbeat. On his release, Rita and I shared an apartment, along with Bob, where we could cook, take care of him, and have the children around, so things could feel as normal as possible. What? This was no time for petty jealousy and bruised egos. It was a time for one love in the broadest sense of the phrase. She would hold the fort while I went out for a while. I did the same. My dear friends Nancy and Virginia were living in New York at the time, and I would run away to them whenever I could. Cooking, comforting, and caring for a great human being who was now fighting for his life. If this was what he needed, then this was what we would do. The night we cut his locks was heartbreaking. The lights were dim and we burned incense, and again read from the Bible. His hair had begun to fall, and the weight of the locks on the few remaining strands still attached to the scalp was very uncomfortable. Along with everything else he was going through physically at the time, there needed to be relief of some sort, somehow. He marveled at how light his head felt once they were gone, and his concern was for the children's reaction, seeing him without them. He wanted to handle it himself, his way, so as not to scare them. He joked about it with them, keeping it light and trying to make it seem like no big thing. And as usual, the people came and went. After all, they had needs. A decision was taken for Bob to seek further treatment at Dr. Issel's clinic in Germany. He had had the greatest success up until then and was the only doctor who was reputed to have cured a melanoma on the face of the earth. Rita and I both wanted Bob to go to Mexico, where Steve McQueen had been treated. We felt the climate, the culture, the food, etc. would be more to his liking. However, Germany won out in the end. We were, after all, mere women. What did we know anyway? I left Damien with a friend in early 1989 and made my way to Germany to see Bob. Sorry, I beg your pardon. In early 1981, and made my way to Germany to see Bob. A single parent, I couldn't leave indefinitely, and it certainly was not the place for a 2-year-old. I could only stay for a few weeks. It was bitter cold. The snow was up to our knees. We went to the clinic every day for many and varied treatments, all designed to fight the disease in one way or another. But I think it was clear to all of us by then, Skill, Pee-wee, his doctor from Jamaica, Neville, Gilly, that we were losing the battle. It was a very sad time, needless to say, and Bob underwent a number of different surgeries as he continued to remain strong and resolute in his fight for the life that the world so admired. In early May, the clinic in Germany said there was nothing more they could do for him. Bob was flown privately back to Miami as the first stop on his way home. He never made it. Damien and I arrived in Miami on the 10th of May, 1981. We would see Bob for the last time that day. While dressing Damien to go back to the hospital the following morning, we got the news. There would be no more visits. Bob was gone.